Morning, sir. Morning, sir. Morning, ma'am.
Shruti, please have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
Shruti, you are from Patna, Bihar.
Yes, sir. I was born there.
You are born there.
Yes, sir.
You have done your BTech in Computers, Science and Engineering
Yes, sir.
from IIT BHU Varanasi.
Yes, sir.
And you are fond of reading mythological stories.
Yes, sir.
And your optional was anthropology.
Yes, sir.
And you have worked for some time as analyst.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me ask you this question that Varanasi, why is it famous? For various reasons.
Yes, sir. Varanasi is famous for its temples and ghats, and Varanasi, because of its historical significance. Apart from that, Varanasi is also famous for its street food, its chaats and pan. And apart from that, it is also known for its Varanasi saris, which are made there.
Anything related to the culture and social problems which are associated with Varanasi?
So, social problems of Varanasi.
Yeah. Any problem which you can think about?
Sir, the at least when I stayed there, there was problem with the law and order situation there, especially near the college. So social problems specifically, I cannot recall something.
So lot many widows come there to spend their last time from various parts of the country.
Okay, sir.
Then the problem of beggary, which is there.
Yes, sir.
So these are some of the problems. Okay, so let me ask you one more thing, and that is, tell me that Bihar, you have been practicing, I mean, since you are born in Bihar, prohibition. Now, can you narrate the pros and cons of prohibition?
So the prohibition is imposed essentially to curb the liquor sale in the state. So that kind of so sir, liquor has basically many problems associated with it. It leads to social problems in the form of domestic violence, and people sell off their properties to get liquor, so that also kind of breeds poverty. And sir, basically imposing a ban on prohibition tries to curb that.
Ban on prohibition?
I'm sorry, sir. The prohibition on liquor tries to curb that. But sir, the problem is that despite prohibition, people still go find some ways to get liquor. So probably they will go to the adjacent states like they do in Jharkhand or UP to get liquor from there, or they fall prey to spurious liquors which are sold illegally in the markets. So ultimate aim is not achieved because of prohibition, but what we will need more enforcement of the laws on a strict basis so that the illegal sale is not there.
My last question. Prohibition word also occurs somewhere in Constitution also. Can you tell me where it occurs?
Sir, in the directive principles of state policy.
Any other? That is related to the liquor only.
Yes, sir.
But there is some other remedy prohibition. Direction can be issued by a court. Are you aware?
So I'm not able to recall right now.
Okay, no problem. That is it.
You were having such a good job.
Yes, sir.
And you see the salary which you were drawing in civil service, you will draw at the fag end of your career after 25 years of service. So why to quit this job and go for the civil service?
So I quit this job because, sir, for me, money is not the primary motivation for any job. A job is something which I should be able to do wholeheartedly for a long duration of time. So, sir, in the problem with my I liked my prior job also, but I was mostly restricted to the financial sector. And civil services will give me a platform to work for the people, and that also across multiple sectors. So, sir, that is why I left my job.
What will be your job in civil service? What you will be doing?
Sir, in civil service, sir, if I get IAS, I would be essentially responsible for maintaining law and order, for implementing the developmental schemes which are there. And sir, in the developmental schemes, we will have some in the education sector, in the health sector, for women's safety, especially in the law and order part. And sir, I would also be the chief electoral officer for conducting the elections in that district. So answer for land revenue and assessment. So these would be my functions.
Do you think chief electoral officer conduct the election in the district?
No, sir, he is responsible for the smooth conduction of elections.
Where?
Sir, in the district, at the district level, he's supervising the elections.
Then at state level, who supervises?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. It was chief electoral officer at the state level and district electoral officer at the district level.
District electoral officer.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
And then what the returning officers they do, and then what the district election officer function.
So district election officers, sir, returning officers are appointed constituency wise, if I can recall.
Yeah.
And sir, district election officer would be responsible for the district or for the district.
Then where your district electoral officer will come, where he will fit into it.
Sir, I'm sorry. I think I'm not able to recall the exact.
Then after
function.
that, what is the hierarchy?
Sir, after the district electoral officer, I think there are returning officers who are appointed in the constituency, and there are certain observers which are appointed by the election commission
That's
for
all.
each constituency.
That's all.
So that is what I remember.
But who physically conduct the election at the booth level, at the polling station level?
So the polling officer.
Polling officers.
Sir,
Define. Yep.
So this election commission will be conducting the elections, and these are officers who are supervising the elections.
But who physically conducts it at polling station?
Sir, I'm unable to recall that.
Just
I'll read
read
up
about
about.
it,
I'll
yeah.
just revise it.
Okay.
Shruti, after your 10th, you migrated to DPS RKP.
Yes, ma'am.
What brought you here?
Ma'am, I had
You were
heard.
in section A, B, those sections you were put in?
Ma'am, I was in section J.
Okay, okay, those special sections.
No, ma'am.
So, what was the motivation of shifting from Jamshedpur to Delhi?
Ma'am, I had heard that DPS RK Puram was a reputed institution, and I wanted to pursue my higher secondary from there. That
Okay.
was the primary reason.
So, basically academics.
Yes, ma'am.
But your desire for working with the people, for the people, that takes you a little away from academics, or that's part of the same chain of thought?
Ma'am, I believe that academics also helps us learn some skills which we can use to solve the problems of people.
Like?
Ma'am, for example, I did my BTech in computer science and engineering, and technology has a lot of applications for people. So it can be used for solving their problems.
Just give me one example or two examples.
Ma'am, I'll give you a very simple example that artificial intelligence, especially has a lot of applications in the agricultural sector where you are using, we can use sensors and drones. Drones can be used for spraying uniformly, and sensors can be used for crop assessment. Similarly, ma'am, blockchain technology, that can be used for reforming any kind of service delivery. For example, if we have PDS, if we use blockchain there, the leakages of the food grains from the PDS system can be prevented.
Okay. Goldman Sachs,
Yes, ma'am.
work-life balance.
Yes, ma'am.
How is it?
Ma'am, at Goldman Sachs, the work hours are a little more because it's a foreign based company. So we have to adjust with the timings of the US. But ma'am, overall, despite the work pressure uh, or the long hours of working, they do have some activities which kind of relax the people. And
You get your weekends?
yes, ma'am, we get our
You do
weekends
get your
completely.
weekends.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Some of your sister concerns don't.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay. My last question is on mythology. Since you say that reading mythological stories is what interests you, what is the mythology behind the mythical river Saraswati, and from where does it come?
Ma'am, Saraswati, ma'am, what I recall is that Hastinapur was situated on the banks of uh, Saraswati.
Hastinapur.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And the Kuru Panchal kingdom essentially.
Mhm.
And ma'am, Saraswati river, you're asking about the Saraswati
Yeah,
river's origin.
Yeah, the mythological part of it.
The
And
myth.
What is the mythology behind the river?
I don't remember the mythology behind the river of Saraswati.
Where is it recorded first?
Ma'am, it's recorded in the Rig Veda, I think.
Yeah, it's in the Rig Veda. It
Yes,
comes from
ma'am.
the Rig Veda. And it starts from the Himalayas, Mana village.
Okay, ma'am. I was
So
not aware of
Hastinapur
this.
is not really that. It's from the Vedic times, of course, Rig Veda. And then what is the present status?
Ma'am, presently it has dried up and
For what reasons?
I do not remember the reasons behind that.
Tectonic shifts, disturbances, in fact,
Okay,
not
ma'am.
shifts, but disturbances.
Okay, ma'am.
And it is said that it is not actually disappeared, it has only dried up.
Okay, ma'am.
Satellite images still show, and there have been talk of revival. Okay. My other question on this is Vishnu Sharma. Have you heard of the name?
Yes, ma'am.
What is he known for?
Panchatantra.
And
Ma'am, I remember Panchatantra.
okay,
Hitopdesh.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely right. So, what are Panchtantra stories? In what form is Panchtantra?
Ma'am, Panchatantra stories are stories on basically they use animals to represent some moral stories.
That's right. And it used to be an oral tradition.
Ma'am, I'm not sure
You're
about
not
that.
sure of that. Okay. Now, what is the difference between folk tales, fables, myths?
Ma'am, myths are generally creation stories of religions, and folk tales belong to certain communities. For example, certain tribal communities have some stories, and fables would be stories which are probably written for just pastime stories. I'm not able to formulate that. Uh,
Fables are also stories based on actual things with a moral thing. Now,
Yes,
just one last question. What is Hitopdesh? Can you give me the meaning of the word Hitopdesh?
no, ma'am. I don't know the meaning.
Ever read Sanskrit or Hindi in your school?
Ma'am, I read Hindi, but I have not read
You've
Sanskrit.
not studied Sanskrit. Hit plus Updesh.
For the benefit of, so these are Updesh or sermons for the benefit of people.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
since you want to go into statecraft, these are stories for statecraft.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shruti, what is the meaning of your name?
Sir, Shruti means something which can be heard.
Okay. In terms of music, do you have any idea how many Shrutis are there?
No, sir.
22.
22 Shrutis. Okay, sir.
One of the prominent Shruti is Preeti.
So that's my mother's name.
All right. Something on mythology. How many yugs are supposed to be there as far as the mythology, Hindu mythology is concerned?
So there are 4 yugs.
Okay.
So
Can you
there
name
is, yes, sir. So there is Satyug, there is Treta Yug, there is Dwapar Yug, and the one which we are living in is Kal Yug.
which is the longest? What is the ratio?
So that I am not aware
4,
of.
3, 2, 1.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
Okay. Satyug
Longest
is
is
the
Satyug.
longest. Okay.
Do you have any idea which avatars took place in which yug?
Sir, I'll try that.
Okay.
Sir, Treta Yug, Ram was there, and Parshuram was also there. And sir, in Dwapar Yug, Krishna was there. In
Okay.
Satyug, I think Matsya Avatar was there.
Hmm.
and Varaha was also there.
Yes.
And Sir, Vaman was there in the Treta Yuga.
Okay. And which avatar is yet to come?
Sir, Kalki.
In which yug?
Sir, Kali Yuga.
Excellent. Why Ganesh ji is known as Vignaharta? What is the reason? And what is the meaning of the symbol? Any idea?
Sir, I'm not aware of the story behind it, but probably it should be concerned with he basically resolved some crisis.
But why? You see, Ganesh ji, the elephant and the human body,
Yes, sir.
elephant's head, and his Vahan Mushak.
Moshak.
What does these two things signify? That is the connection between, why he is called Vignaharta. Any intelligent guess?
Mushak and
What is Vigna?
any crisis,
Well, any obstruction. Hurdle.
obstacles. Okay,
Right.
hurdle.
विघ्न उसको ही कहते हैं.
हाँ, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not able to associate
Okay.
it.
Elephant can wade through the longest possible grass. There is no barrier as far as elephant is concerned.
Yes, sir.
It can wade through the water. It can pass through the long grass, jungle thick. There is absolutely no obstruction for elephant.
Yes, sir.
And howsoever secure granary you may make, the rat is able to reach it.
Reach it. Yes, sir.
Breaching all barriers. That is the reason. There is a
sir.
very interesting book by a German author called Myths and Symbols in
Okay, sir.
Indian Art and Civilization by Heinrich Zimmer.
Okay, sir.
So he has dealt with these
Yes, sir.
subjects very well.
I'll try to check
So
upon
anthropology is your
that. Yes, sir. Subject.
okay. All right, I think I will leave mythology only. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jitendra. Your mother works with the district social welfare department.
Yes, sir.
Where? Which district?
Sir, in Jharkhand.
In Jharkhand. Which district in Jharkhand?
Sir, in Lohardaga district.
Lohada district. Your mother belongs to Munger, your father to Patna. You studied in Jamshedpur, and your father currently lives in
Sir, he is
Ranchi.
living Ranchi. Yes, sir.
So, what is something that is very common in these areas? What is something that like big problem that binds all these places together?
Ranchi, Munger.
Ranchi, Munger, Jamshedpur, Patna, that area between these areas. You must have traveled a lot of time, right?
Yes, sir. Sir,
It's
in
all-
general, these areas are comparatively less developed than the other
They're all
areas.
forested. And what is the problem in these areas? Most glaring problem?
Sir, left-wing extremism,
Yeah,
Naxalism.
left-wing extremism. So, what do you think is the cause for this left-wing extremism in the South Bihar and Jharkhand area?
Sir, the area is basically dominated by the tribals. And sir, what has happened is that, or tribals or the poor people who live there, that whatever benefits of the government schemes, they were not able to reach these people.
Hmm.
So what happened that they started providing local support to the Naxalites. And sir,
Where did Naxalites come from? Do you
Sir-
have any idea about the genesis of the this movement?
sir, from the Naxalbari village of West Bengal.
Mhm.
So the tribals there, so it was under the guidance of Charu Majumdar and Jungle Santhal.
Hmm.
So the tribals were basically unhappy with the implementation of the land reforms and the land alienation. So due to which they kind of revolted against the landlords there, and police was basically sent to suppress that, and that led to the origin of left-wing extremism.
Exactly, not the tribals. It started against the zamindars of
Yes,
those
sir.
areas in Bengal and even in Bihar.
Okay,
It
sir.
started not in the jungle areas but in areas of Bhojpur and surrounding
sir.
areas, which was dominated by the zamindars.
Zamindars.
So then subsequently spread to the jungle areas
areas.
Because the government was moving in there and people were moving in there to exploit the resources.
Yes, sir.
So, do you have any idea about the structure of the Naxal movement? I mean, how do they operate and what are those levels? You studied anything about those?
So their organization,
The organization.
so I'm not aware of the organization that they have, but I do know that how they get their support.
You must have read in the papers, no? There's dasta moving. What is a dasta? Naxal dasta. Or they have their conferences. Never heard of this.
Sorry, I'll not be able to formulate that.
So imagine you are posted to Lohardaga,
Yes, sir.
okay, as a district SP.
Yes, sir.
So how would you lead the operations there? Do you think that as a female it would be a little problem for you to leading the operations in the jungle areas?
No, sir, I don't think that being a female, it would be difficult for me, because if I enter into the service, I have to cope up with the demands of the service, for which I'm entering here. And sir, as the SP there, first of all, sir, I will focus on there are many people who are actually willing to return to the fold. So I would focus on the rehabilitation, and sir, but I will also ensure that security operations, whatever forces I have under in my command, are also conducted. And also I would request request the whatever authority is there to have the infrastructure built, basically because we will need some roads for that region to be accessible. So recently also CRPF DG said that a lot roads have been not completed in the Sukma region for 12 years, which makes the CRPF people prone to the landmines and whatever that they lay down. So sir, I will focus on this.
Coming from there, what are the challenges that women face in police forces? Because increasingly the number of the women in police force is increasing. What are the challenges that they face in discharging their duties? What would you do as an SP to as a remedy for that?
So there is some sort of discrimination against the women women who are working in the police. In terms of that they are not considered fit for many operations because of their gender. And sir, secondly, the problem is that they have to balance between their work and life. So basically there is no creche or daycare centers, which I think recently the Women and Child Minister declared that they will be creating some creches for the women police officers. So these are the two primary challenges, I think. And for removing that, I think we will have to sensitize the police that even women officers can work on these assignments, and we'll have to create awareness among them. And on the infrastructural side, we will have to create some daycare centers or creche, so that they don't have to compromise on their own life.
Your mother must have worked as a CDPO.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So you would have had interactions with her regarding the work that a CDPO is supposed to do, right? In the social welfare department.
Yes, sir.
But there have been various cases where the organizations or institutions run by social welfare department, they become the instruments of operation. Like there was a Muzaffarpur shelter home case where girls who were put there, they were abused. So what do you think is the reason why does it happen, and what has the government done to say it doesn't happen again?
So the reason it happens is probably there is lack of adequate monitoring and inspections at these places.
Yeah.
And sir, there have been probably laxities in appointment of the concerned NGOs and the organizations who are responsible for running these places. And sir, I'm not able to recall any specific initiative by the government for that. But sir, I know that
As a district magistrate, what would you do? Let me ask you.
Sir, I would ensure that inspections and monitoring are done at frequent intervals, and especially with regards to the life that these children are living there. So probably going there will help us know that food is given, or is there any kind of sexual exploitation. I will also ensure that some women guards are posted there. We also have some home guards, I think, now. So guards are posted there who basically ensure that nothing like that happens there. And so this is what I would do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Shruti, we'll take you back to the waiting room for some time. You can wait there and we'll call you again for feedback.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Sit down, Shruti. Shruti, first of all, let me ask you frankly, how do you think you have fared at the interview? Your own response to that.
So it was not good at all.
Uh, don't be so pessimistic, but nevertheless, which are the areas where you think you need to prepare?
Sir, I was not able to answer the questions on polity. And
All
sir,
right.
mostly the articulation, I think I get a bit nervous when speaking. That has to be more um,
First
looked
of all,
at.
tell us where is your interview?
Sir, it's on 6th.
Sixth one.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's quite nearby. But don't lose heart. There's nothing. You gave a very good performance. Your communication skills are very good. You have a pleasing personality.
Yes.
You can speak out well. The choice of words is very good. Structuring of sentence is very good. And don't think that you were not having confidence. You were having full confidence. You were speaking with lot of conviction and clarity. There was no doubt. There are one of the two areas where we would like
Yes.
to suggest that your knowledge part, just remember that there may be a question and then there will be a supplementary to that.
Yes,
So
sir.
therefore, you should prepare it fully
Yes, sir.
so that you are prepared for the supplementary. That
Supplementary,
is one.
yes.
Secondly, do not venture into areas. So don't proactively suggest
Yes, sir.
to the panel
Yes, sir.
about something which you
Sorry,
will
sir.
lead to into a further question.
Yes,
So
sir.
only tell that much. It is called as need to know basis.
Yes, sir.
Only that much you should tell, which is necessary.
Necessary. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And then supplementary may or may not come from the other side. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that is the second thing. Some of the strengths which you possess, and I'm going to narrate to you for building up your confidence. You had a very good. You were mentally alert. Number two, I noticed that your articulation is absolutely fine. Communication is absolutely fine. Your English language command over that and structuring is absolutely good. Then your power of assimilation is also there. Your exposition is clear and logical. The knowledge part only, as I said,
Yes.
you must know how a district functions,
Yes, sir.
what are the functions of the collector
Yes, sir.
and subordinate officers. Pay a visit to a district, whichever district you are right now.
Yes, sir.
Meet some officers go to a village, see how things work there,
Yes,
go
sir.
to a block, how things work there,
Yes, sir.
and go to a district.
Yes, sir.
So at all the three levels, understand the first-hand knowledge about the functioning of the district. That will give you a very good knowledge about that. Your answer on prohibition was fine. There was no problem on that.
So which article was there? Can you?
Yeah, in Constitution there are four things: quo warranto and prohibition. And
Yes.
so there are four remedies which are available. Directions which can be issued
Yes,
by the court, which are there. You will be able to
Yes.
find out exact.
Yes, sir.
Now, one more thing is that once you have mentioned mythology, you must be prepared on any particular mythology. Which area were you prepared on? Supposing we were to ask you to narrate one particular incident, story which you have recently read,
Okay,
which
sir.
one would you like to say?
Sir, I would narrate. Recently, I had read the story of Matsya Avatar in particular, so I would narrate that story. That
Okay.
Lord Manu basically saved the fish. So I will be. I think
Yeah.
I'll be able to
So
narrate
that's
that.
it. So you must be prepared on one or two stories.
Yes, sir.
You learn by heart, and exactly you can field questions on that also.
Yes, sir.
The second is that since computer science is something which is your subject, so you have done your BTech, so there will be many questions. It can be regarding to piracy issues. It can be regarding the computer languages.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
one elementary question which may come is that the mobile phones that we use, which is the computer language that is used there.
Okay, sir.
You must be prepared
Yes,
that
sir.
Apple uses this language
This
and
language,
Android
Android
uses this
that
language
language.
and so on.
Yes, sir.
So that is another area. Since you are from done your IIT from Varanasi, so Varanasi typically questions may be there,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Modi's constituency and the temples you mentioned definitely, but must know some of the
Some
temples
from-
there.
Yes, sir.
Then the business, the economy, the social problems,
Social
all
media.
these things.
Yes, sir.
And there are certain things which are typical of Varanasi, and if you remember then you will be able to understand that it is called Ran San Sidi Sannyasi.
Okay, sir.
Ran San Sidi Sannyasi. Inse bacho to dekho Kashi.
Okay, sir.
Now Ran is a widow. San is the cattle, bull,
Bull, yes, sir.
which you can see on
Yes,
the
sir.
सीढ़ी घाट्स के ऊपर
घाट
सीढ़ी
की
है
सीढ़ी होती है.
and
Yes, sir.
सन्यासी.
सन्यासी. Yes,
इनसे
sir.
बचो तो देखो
देखो
काशी.
काशी.
तो this is typically describing
Drugs भी
Varanasi.
मशहूर थे बनारस के.
Yes, sir.
Thugs.
Banarsi
Quite
thugs.
thugs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the cultural side. You have the best, maestros in music. Ustad Bismillah Khan,
Bismillah.
Girija Devi, Rajan Sajan Mishra, and then tabla player
Pandit Kishan Maharaj,
Pandit Kishan Maharaj. So you
Santa
must
Prasad ji.
know
Saraj.
all these things about this. Then Sarnath.
Sarnath.
Is very
Yes,
near.
sir. Yes.
So these are the things you should know. Then of course, since you belong to otherwise communication, you have written Noida, Uttar Pradesh.
Yes, sir.
So you must first of all also know about Uttar Pradesh recent elections, and and many things which have been done by the present chief minister. So one controversy thing which became was that is about the love jihad.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you must understand what is love jihad, why, pros and cons, and so on. So we will not go into great details, but I'm only trying to hint at some of the questions which may come. Anthropology is again an optional which question may come. And why do you want to come to civil service? That is a question which invariably you are going to get.
Yes, sir.
So the district administration, why do you want to come to civil services? Your choice of services, Indian Foreign Service, you have given as number
Third
3.
position. Yes, sir.
So you may be asked this, why number
Why
3, why not
number three?
number
Yes,
1,
sir.
and so on. And that's about it. And if you have any questions, you can ask us.
Sir, I'm repeating the same thing only. Did I appear very underconfident? Because that is the
No, no.
feedback I have gotten
No,
from
no, no.
various places, and I'm
Don't
trying to
even
work
think
on
about
that.
it. Don't even think about it. You are having confidence.
Quite confident. On the contrary.
If you are not able to answer a question
I will
to
just.
your satisfaction,
Yes.
forget it, because we are also not expecting that you will answer every question.
Sir.
Few questions definitely everybody will miss.
Only one thing I would suggest.
Yes, sir.
Last question. Whenever it is asked, try to answer that question correctly.
Okay,
Because
sir.
that is when you are leaving the room.
That perception gets
The
built.
perceptions.
Okay,
So,
sir.
and the first question and the last question, the introduction and the conclusion, they should be the most powerful.
Okay, sir.
And do not worry about some question if you don't know. If you are not understood the question, you can politely ask them to repeat the question. If you want to spend some time, you can take permission. If you want to apply guesswork, you can take permission.
Okay,
These
sir.
are all things which you must keep in mind
Okay,
while you are
sir.
addressing. There will be people from different cities. This is for the first time that you are appearing at the interview.
Yes, sir. First time in civil services. This is my second attempt and first interview.
Okay, all right. So, you are absolutely, you are very good. There's no problem about that. But only knowledge part
Yes,
slightly.
sir. I will try to build
Study
upon
in
that.
greater detail
Yes, sir.
and pay a visit to the district
Okay, sir.
and understand the entire rigmarole, the administrative hierarchy, the revenue system, and the law and order system. All these things you will be able to then answer them very well. And one more thing is the public policies. You must understand the relationship of India with its neighbors.
Yes, sir.
So the international level, then domestic level, the current affairs, up
Yes,
to
sir.
that point when you are about to enter the room.
Interview.
These are all things which you will have to.
Yes, sir.
keep in mind. Otherwise, you are very good, and we hope that you will be definitely
I just
succeed.
in case you are not able to visit because he has
Our
interviewed
time
six,
is.
then actually you interact with someone
Yeah.
who has practically seen all this district.
So I think I'll ask my mother
Mother is
mother
there.
in this
Yeah, yeah.
district
Yeah.
social welfare officer.
See,
So
just
right
write it
person.
down, make a chart.
yes, sir. I will talk to her. Yeah.
Your mother is in this in the
Social welfare
social
department.
Social
department.
welfare department. Yes,
So
sir.
she will be having a fair idea
Yes,
about what
yes,
is
sir.
happening in the
Yes, sir.
district. So try to spend some time with her and understand everything,
Yes, sir.
how it happens there.
Yes, sir. Sir, with regards to that, I had also some mocks lined up tomorrow and after. So should I focus on building my knowledge now, or rather on the
think
knowledge
so.
part?
I think so.
Yeah, that's
Because you see, sometimes what happens is that subsequent they may point out something which may result in lowering down your confidence. We don't
Sir.
want that to happen.
Sir.
You are good,
okay,
and
sir.
we are quite certain that you will make it with a
Sir.
good figure. If you go to some others, first of all, you will be traveling time and
Yes, sir. That's
spending
what
time.
happens. There's a lot of lack of time. I've been giving mocks like almost every day for the past weeks. Ma'am, this was my 6th mock.
That's enough. It's enough.
Just calm down, read. Focus on whatever you have done. Don't pick up new subjects because there's hardly any time. for
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
And as he said, write down bullet points.
Yes, ma'am.
Never mug up. Always write.
Yes, yes.
Writing.
Understand.
But I usually write my
Internalize
bullet
them.
points. Yes. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you,
You
sir.
do very well. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir.
Of
Thank
course, something will depend on your written score also. But as far as personality test is concerned, I think you fill up all the attributes which are required for a good office.
Sir, I also had one doubt. Sir, I worked in Goldman Sachs in the technology part of it, the technology division. So, sir, should I prepare banking completely I've just referred to the banking that we study for civil services and Goldman Sachs and financial crisis of 2007 and 8.
No harm. Have a
Yes, sir.
helicopter view of the whole thing.
Yes, sir.
What it is.
Yes,
You
sir.
just need to know the basics. Since you've not done banking, one is not expected to know everything about it.
Yes, sir.
You just know the basics. Since you're working there, that's all.
Yes, sir.
But-
You don't have to get too perturbed about it that you don't know it inside. out.
But why bank? You are working in a with
Goldman
which,
Sachs.
So she worked
Okay.
on Goldman Sachs, but on the
Technology side.
but the important thing is that once you have said that, you have mentioned it in your
Yes,
draft,
sir.
then you must also read corporate ethics and
Okay, sir.
corporate governance.
Corporate
That is
governance.
very essential.
Yes, sir.
Because the role of the SEBI, the role of Reserve Bank of India, and the role of the Companies Act,
Yes, sir.
because all these scams which have
Have
occurred in
occurred
financial
the corporate
institution,
sector, NSE and all.
ICICI particularly,
Yes,
Satyam, NSE,
NSE, yes,
Punjab
sir.
National Bank, these are all areas which you must understand why this happened,
Okay,
what actually went wrong, whether it was the dereliction of duty of the independent directors, whether the RBI, like
Yes,
in
sir.
for example, in the case of Harshad Mehta, it
Yes,
was the
sir.
role of RBI
sir.
that was brought into question. So there are about 10-15 scams. If you just Google, you will be able to have a
Yes,
list
sir.
and find out the reasons. So that is very essential. Then one or two questions on banks will come. Merger of banks, nationalization of banks, pros, cons, all these things.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Say the macro
Okay.
picture of the whole.
Okay.
You don't have the time to go into
Go
many details. Have a macro picture, and maybe the role of banks after the COVID,
Okay, ma'am.
post-COVID.
Effect.
COVID as such, you have to study quite a bit
Mhm.
because COVID is something which is recent
And
past.
of course, CDC,
Yeah.
which is being
So the
Digital currency.
digital currency part,
Yeah.
yes,
from
sir.
RBI.
Yes, sir.
How it will be, whether it will be an asset class or how it will be different from the
Cryptocurrency.
e-transfer or
cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
You will do
Thank
well.
you.
Don't worry.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.